Hey everybody, welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today I've got Coach Frye with us, joining us today. Coach, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey Josh, thank you for having me here. I'm thrilled to be on the Business Spotlight. You know, hey, it's a new business for me.
Right, yeah, a little bit different than the normal format, but it'll fall under the Business Spotlight. But you in particular, we met a couple months ago because you were getting into the lovely world of podcasting.
Yes.
So you're about, what, 4 or 5 months into
About
that?
5 months.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I want to back up just for anybody that's watching that doesn't know you, which isn't everybody. 45 years, it was 49 years of professional coaching. You coached at ECU, NC State, Florida, UNC Chapel Hill, and USC here in Columbia, and that's where we met. I was here in the Columbia podcast studio. So,
how you got it right?
Notes. I've got notes up here.
Long time. Yeah, it seems like a long time that I've been involved with it. Like some people say, if I've never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with 18-year-olds to 22, they always stay 18 to 22. Mm-hmm. They graduate and then another 18 comes. Yeah. And so they keep you young. So I've had a lovely career. Yeah. And you've probably got, you've coached folks that are in their 50s now. Yeah. All the way to, kids that are still in college, right? Right. I've got one young man. He's I would say a grandson of mine because his mother was a great athlete. And last week he ran at Arizona State and got the second fastest time in the country. And so you think about, you got a kid running in college. And, so I'm just thrilled. We got Natasha Colander, who was an All-American at Chapel Hill, and her son is a football player that's getting ready to sign at Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. And you go like, wow, man, that's amazing. We see some first generation of kids. Now they're second generation, so it's kind of like a legacy whenever you see the continuance of our careers expanding. Yeah.
No, that's cool. I'm kind of in the same boat. I came from a baseball family. Yeah. So, my granddad and his brother played and my dad played. And then me and my brothers, I've got 2 brothers, and we all played college. A little bit in between the show and college. And then now my son's into football. So he's the first generation to not play baseball. Wow. But we've got guys that my brothers are coaching people that I went to school with, their kids. Yes. And they went the coaching route. I didn't, but they're talking to me about, oh yeah, I know, one of your clients, I used to play ball with him and I've coached his kids. So it's fun to see that kind of stuff. I'm sure you've seen it to a much bigger degree.
Well, the biggest thing for me right now is I get to drive my 11-year-old grandson to his little league practice, and they all want me to teach everybody how to run. Yeah. And so I go do that in the afternoons over in Lexington, South Carolina, and then he's hitting the baseball incredibly hard. He went up to Boston and hitting. They have a test there for kids when you get 14. Hitting the ball, and so he asked, could he get
the swing track thing? Mm-hmm. And it's like a $30,000 piece of equipment, but it's so cool.
Well, they asked him. He wanted to do it too because he has a 14-year-old brother, and his dad invested a lot of time in the 14-year-old, and the little guy, he got up, and there's a 95 percentile, there's a 80% and 70 percentile, and so the 10-year-old hit the ball into the 95 percentile of the 14-year-olds.
Nice.
And so we said, it's time to spend a little time. It's time with him. Yeah. Because he duplicates everything his older brother does and stuff. So that's what one of my joys is following grandkids.
Mm-hmm. No, it's got to be great.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's got to be fun. I had a couple years before that, but
it's good. You don't yell as much at them.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing.
You just grab him.
I got scared him out of baseball, actually.
You just grab him and hug him.
Yeah.
And watch him have fun. And
that's cool.
Try to make sure that he does have fun. Too often, people make athletics a job for 10-year-olds. Yeah. I see parents in there yelling while the kids are getting supervised by they're paying for the supervision. of good coaches, guys that do this for a living.
Yeah.
But then they walk up and start wanting to move the hand grip or something. It just looks so uncomfortable for the professional, the guy who they hired.
Yeah.
And you go,
well, you got that, and then you've got the other side where they're very supportive, but they've got the kid in so many, especially within baseball, and I think golf is similar, and other sports that are skill sports, but they've got practice over here, and then they've got showcase ball over here. They spend the entire weekend playing, and even if the parent is super supportive, that kid, they're 10. They're only 10 ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very intense is what I'm saying.
The big thing is, I mean, the message I try to tell is supportive is get them to practice. Go watch the game.
Yeah.
Helicopter is moving the hand grip at the site of an event or screaming at the official.
Yeah.
It happens in the sport that I coach to, track and field, all the way to they're 30 years old. At 24, there's parents that hire the agent. And, you know, it's like this is their first time being involved with an agent. Now here you got coaching staffs here who've had hundreds of kids that have signed to go pro, and the advice you get is from somebody who's never had a pro, and you interview these people and you don't really understand if they live up to the word they've got. So it's just like, stay in the lane, have somebody you trust, and trust them in what they're doing. And that's the danger in athletics right now. We're in NIL on college campuses, and every kid has got an agent. And people, lawyers are getting certified in something they have no idea.
So you're dealing with lawyers and agents, parents.
Yes. And so, I mean, I kind of got out of it, but I mean, I'd love to be in it because I didn't have that kind of money to be able to negotiate a contract with an 18-year-old and a parent, their first kid. But it would be frightening when they want to use my office to negotiate a contract and have me outside the office. I hear some of those horror stories. This coach is the guy who's making them run fast, and but then when it comes time for the business side, somebody gets, because the trust factor is so low, because this thing has gone on for so long that college coaches have used their agent or their lawyer to sign big contracts, and they've made money off of guys that are in the NFL. And that guy in the NFL goes broke because of the guy that they had him sign with. Yeah. And so that trust factor is something that causes people to hear those horror stories. Man, and they treat everybody like they're that bad coach, that bad person that exploited exploited a 23-year-old. But everybody is not that guy. Right. You know, and my son played for a guy named Lou Holtz. You know, he just passed, and I'm going to do a part of my podcast today is going to be spending a lot of time spending some stories on Coach Holtz. Coach Holtz, as difficult and different as he was, he loved every one of his kids to the point that he will pick up their telephone call. It's going to be, they're in struggle. They got a birth in the family. If he noticed it, that they were getting married, he would call a guy who was a third teamer. And, you know, those are things you learn whenever you're in this business with people through the characteristics that make people successful. It's care. Yeah. And so right now I'm in a kind of low because that was a guy that cared. Now, I don't agree with everything he did. I'm not a political component of his, but I hear that all on the sideline of other people's statements and podcasts and their Instagrams. But they don't know the man. Yeah. You know, and I happen to, I turned my most precious commodity into his hand. My son could have went to any place. He was admitted to Notre Dame, all the Ivies, to Duke, but he wanted to play for a legend, and I let him play for a legend. And he's in a low. My son's in a low. I'm in a low. Yeah. And I don't let nobody be. A person doesn't have to be your friend. You're my friend, Lou's my friend, and we can split. I can stay your friend, and I can be Lou's friend. But if you talk about Lou, then we're gonna have to stop being friends. And if if Lou talks about you, we're going to have to not be friends. You maintain yours, I maintain mine, and we're going to be okay with who's friend. Yeah. That's the way I've done, and all along the way, I've been different.
Yeah. Well, and I wish there was more people that thought that way, because we've had a lot of divisive, maybe the last 10 years, friendships broken apart because people have different political views.
Yeah.
You can have good people that have different ideas.
Yes.
That you're friends with, you respect, at least that, right? You respect them.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything that this person says, but I mean, I don't have a single friend that I can say I agree with every single thing that they do or say, but I know they're good people.
Yeah. So I think the friendship comes is when the loss of friendship comes when the assumption is made that all the negative things, that because I agree with one thing, that you assume that I am all of the things that the person that I agree with are and said. And I think that's where we get in trouble, is to put all persons in one category. And there are some good people that I disagree totally, but then there's some good things about that person that I don't. I don't hesitate to let them know that hey, can we have a discussion on some facts?
Yeah.
And then many times we find that we like and have more that we like about each other than the single thing that we don't like.
Yeah.
But you got to have a discussion, though. If you don't talk about it, you keep having assumptions.
Right. And that's the problem, too, is people find out, oh, you voted for this politician, now we can't ever talk again.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why? Right? Well, why do you believe that?
Yeah.
And that just, I feel like when I was coming up, that was more common. It was just the discussions, even a little friendly debate.
Yeah.
You know, but just, okay, well, Bob down the street doesn't believe exactly what our household believes, but Bob's a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't see that as much anymore.
I actually see my grandson Benny being able to do that. I think this you start there in the sandbox. It's adults remove you from the sandbox. You make it to the middle school. Same friends, and you're throwing and you're catching, and you're joining the same little Boy Scouts groups, and you're buddies. You go hunt and you go walk down to the stream and you fish. That's what the 14-year-old does with his same buddies. No difference in anybody, and they don't have any problem with going over to the other's house and eating out of the fridge, and they're coming over and throwing their shoes on the floor, and the mama at both houses get on the two boards about. Yeah. Well, this point comes somewhere 18 to 20 of separations, and that's the group that because I saw it in universities as coaching. It started being people picking sides, and then that controversial side comes out, and that's what we have. We got to meet something to keep them in the sandbox when they're 18 to 20. You know?
Yeah. Well, and they get to school. That's the age that they get to school. They're out on their own.
Yep.
They're trying to figure out who they are, come up with their own identity. And there's a protest going on for this, and there's somebody on a megaphone screaming about that. And I think that they're just kind of thrown into this world that's a bit contentious. And they figure, well, I need to pick what side I'm on.
Yeah. Well,
and they don't realize, like, that's all your adulthood. There's going to be opposition on both sides of every issue, and you have to learn how to kind of live with that, but also not get tied up by it.
Yeah. Hostage held. That's like me deciding, hey, that's my friend, you're my friend, and we're not gonna destroy the character of my sandbox friend. And so I just think that we have to get out of the locked in. It's all in. We have absolutely no idea after we get past the 23 or 24 I have to be on that side. We're all the way there. And even in athletics, we our kids can't like any, at Carolina, we can't like nobody in orange. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean in orange? I got them down here, I didn't get it, but at Chapel Hill when I coached, well, like nobody in dark blue. Yep. Why? I got plenty of Duke friends. Why I don't like them? They're pretty smart on investing my money. And it's like, look, we invest money over here.
I'm sorry about that. You know, that was my family that started that whole rivalry.
Well, you know, that is as deep a rivalry as Clemson and as Clemson is to Carolina. That it gets to be really, really tough, but only during basketball season.
Right. It's just basketball. Nobody cares about football or anything else.
Care. And they're getting a little bit into football there. And then when I went to Florida, it was them versus those. You know, FSU, Coach Frye was free shoe university because they got guys that he didn't get. He says they gave him free shoes, FSU. And anyway, so it just spreads to we don't do business. We don't, like, those guys are cheating. Yeah. And those guys up there, hey, y'all got people down here cheating. And so it's where people who, when they lose, or they feel less important because somebody has learned something or gained an edge, signed a contract, became something that, above what we expected them to get to. Mm-hmm. And then in turn, the hostility becomes jealousy, envy, they're in my neighborhood. And that's where we get into the problems. And we have to fight our way out of that problem. Yeah. And athletics is one place where I think you get a chance to work your way out of the problem.
Right.
Don Staley works the way out of the problem. Can you shoot? Can you dribble? Can you block shots? Yeah. And the best one that can block the shots, that can allow me to let you develop from blocking shots to being able to shoot a three, and you don't do it all in 1 year. Mm-hmm. You may have some time on the bench, but if you stick with me, I'm gonna teach you how to make great passes, and then by the time you're finished, you're a great product and you're drafted. Yeah. Can you buy into that? And if you can buy in, you're my guy. If you gotta immediately start and you gotta have this much playing time, and that's not her landscape. No, you're gonna fail some here. I'm gonna get on your case. Even though we're paying you NIL, you're still gonna get screamed at, and then you're gonna get pulled to the bench. Somebody's gonna get embarrassed. Mm-hmm. And you gotta be able to take that. Yeah. And then get up. She thinks failing is healthy. Falling down is healthy. Mm-hmm. Teaching you how to get up is what coaches do and what parents do.
Yeah. I was about to say, that's what I'm trying to teach. I got a bunch of kids that are between 10 and 15, and you're going to fail. That lesson that you're going to fail. It's not about if, you've never fail. You are going to. Yeah. How do you react to it? Yeah. And I think it's shifting a little bit in the right direction, but we got into this culture of, everything's okay, and if you failed, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Let's give everybody an award. Else. Let's get an award for them. Yeah. The whole team gets a trophy. Yeah. Yeah. We've been through that for 20 years, and I think the pandemic brought us to a place that we're in. It was equal in getting sick. It didn't have any. It was equal in having time alone. And so everyone has a weakness, and we got to a period where people have to confront their weakness. I think, I have this foundation called Coach Frye. It's the Frye Foundation for Diabetes and Mental Health. The mental health become a component of our foundation because there are kids that were alone during that period, and 5 kids on one 10-mile stretch committed suicide. High school kids in my hometown in that area. And I have a cousin who is a mental health. She's a counselor for mental health, and she told me that the kid in the middle or the kid whose parents cannot afford to pay for counseling is at a bigger risk than all of the kids. The kid who's poor gets Medicaid, Medicare. Mm-hmm. The kid who is rich, parents can afford to have counseling, and they get counseling themselves.
So it's the kids in the middle.
Kids in the middle.
Yeah.
So you look and you see the political landscape. The kid in the middle, the people in the middle have the most aggravation of, because they can't and don't deal with their anger and how to manage it. And it takes out on the kid, and the kid in turn never deals with it. So it's a continuous cycle, as she tells me, that cycle there. So what we have to do is find a way to support people who can't afford but need help. Even the high schools, they can recommend the kid to get counseling, but the kid can't afford for the counseling.
Right.
So then we had to try to find a way to get counselors pro bono, so that they can call us, so that we can pay for the counseling for somebody that the high school recommends.
Yeah.
And so those are things that we just falling through the gap. Is some person or group of people that have invested in themselves. They work 2 jobs, they build a house, and every penny they're making is going into living that life. 2 cars, gated community, private school. So they're not wealthy. They're making it. Well, the kid he's never had mom home all day. And so this kid here has got dead yells, and the rate of divorce in that category is enormous. And they were supposed to make it. So that pandemic put us in a period of kids alone, and now they're adult.
Yeah.
And we have to let them know how important mental health is.
Well, that age group, because that age group that I'm talking about, 10 to 15 now, was what, like 4 to 9 formative years during the pandemic. They'll never quite recover academically from being out that year.
Looking at a screen.
And that's the screen time, I feel like, is the big component, and they're fighting it. I'm trying to get them off the screen.
Yeah.
We went to the beach last year, and I said, hey, the rule is you got 1 hour on the screen a day. They lost their minds.
Oh, yes.
But I'm realizing like how addicted they are. And honestly, we are, like adults too.
Yeah.
But man, just the instant gratification, the I need it now. I mean, it's not even that they expect so much. They've become accustomed to it.
Well, I tell you what, I kind of start doing, and I always have done, is taking people away, champions away from the game, from what they play.
Yeah.
So when I went to Oregon, I take them to the sand dunes and do something they've never done before. And take them out to see otters. Drive them to the California edges of the mountain to see the biggest trees in the world. And it kind of freed them to say, there's something other than the computer. There's something other. Or I'm getting ready to take my grandson and them to Atlanta. We're going to Atlanta to watch the Braves play. Just then they're away from the computer.
Yeah.
And then their hope, you can be what you see. If you only see animated games and shoot, and that's what you're competing with, then in turn, your mind, and it's formative, you can break the formative if you can get a present visual. And that's what we have to do. And I want to tell every grandparent, every parent, don't just take them off the computer. Give them something that replaces the computer.
Right. Don't just take it away.
No, go to the ballet. Go to Kroger Center, and they can just fight and kick and anger. But after they've been in it, they can't get away from having been there.
It's the initial resistance. You got to get through that.
Yeah.
Because they, like you said, they're going to kick and scream at first. But if you give them something real to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they enjoy it. They crave it.
They want to do it again.
Yep.
If you do have go to New York. Go and walk that stretch, and the lights are shining. And you go to New York and go to a play.
Yeah.
Do something. If the wife is broken and you're broken, who's got to fix them? If you're married, you got to fix it. But you can't sit and be broken. Too broken to have broken kids. Fix it. I try not to break it.
Yeah, kind of like a little bit of trickle down, right?
Yeah.
You got to fix you before you can fix others, and you got to fix your relationship before you can fix the family.
You got to invest in it.
Yeah.
We have a saying. We have a saying. If it's to be, it's up to me. Who can? I can. What's to do? Let's do it. Anybody that's been around Coach Frye, from the time that I started coaching, maybe at Florida. Yeah, I had already been coaching a while, but I saw a statement on the back of a T-shirt. If it's to be, it's up to me. And then Nike came around. Who can? And let's do it. So then I come up with, if it's to be, it's up to me. Who can? I can. There's very few things that happen to you that if you make good choices, you can fix the problem. You have to get around positive people, and in turn, you can start working it. We can work on the politics. We can fix them. We can work on the broken home. You take responsibility, then you start finding solutions. But when you take blame, you cannot find a solution to blame.
I like that. But, I never thought of it that way, actually. That's cool.
But ownership.
You can't find a solution to blame. No,
you can't do it. Yeah. But ownership, my shoulders are big enough that I can carry this. You can be upset. Yeah. So I'm built for this. I'm built for a problem. And so many people don't want to own I'm built for the problem.
Right.
My faith tells me God is the sovereign. It's not me. So I try to make faith the first thing. That's our podcast is about. Focus on faith, family, and your friends, and your future, and you find your why.
Is that the 5 F's?
That's the 5 F's. That's what that 5 F is all about. That's cool. And I got another hat. They just go and I just go ahead and make it clear.
If you didn't get that, you definitely get that one.
Yeah. That focus on faith. If your family's falling apart, if the kids are falling, pray.
Yeah.
Focus on your faith, getting yourself right, and then the family, because charity begins at home. Focus on home. Vacation, a group project, dinner for everybody in the neighborhood, cooking in the backyard. Make the community your family so that you're close to the kids who your kids are close to.
Right.
And then nobody disappoints the other because they know they'll disappoint their extended family.
Right.
And so, we just believe in those things. I think I've been very fortunate. I come from a rural home in North Carolina, a little town called Vass on number 1. It's between Southern Pines, Sanford. It's right an hour south of Raleigh.
Not Vance, but Vass.
Vass.
Vass, okay.
And it's about 45 minutes from the Speedway in Rockingham. So that's a culture. It's just eating at somebody's house, leaving the door open, and people walking through the neighborhood. We grew up having a fish fry at the end of the tobacco season, and everybody in the neighborhood coming to the fish fry.
Yeah. And
those things existed. They still exist for 90% of the people. 5% or 10% break the rules. They break into people's houses, 5%, 10%, but they send a message that's 95. 5 or 10% burn people's churches. It ain't 95% of the people that do this. 5 or 10%. But the 90% of 300 million Americans are just the same. They want a good school. They want a good neighborhood. They want to have good highways, and they just want to be able. They don't care if somebody else is having a good life. 90% of them. But when somebody in the 10% does something horrific, they elevate the bad in the 90. They split the 90 up. But we had to get the 90 back to believe in. Hey, they just like me.
Yeah.
And I just, last night, I was talking to some of the kids, and family had 140 kids that were at a Coach Frye's clinic in Raleigh, North, and in Southern Pines, Methodist Church in Southern Pines, with Raleigh Geiger, the cross-country national champion, 4 years in a row, 4 out of 5 years. Mm-hmm. And we just speak about how important it is to surround yourself with your neighbors. Mm-hmm. So your kids got to make sure they select people with common thoughts and plans and ideas of morals, of character. And when you do that, they emulate that later on. Mm-hmm. So, I'm talking a lot of old school philosophy.
No, I love it. And it's funny because I grew up maybe 45 minutes from you. We moved a lot when I was a kid, but in that Durham, Raleigh, Fayetteville area. And then my extended family's all from Oxford, North Carolina. That's why I asked you about Vance.
Oh, yeah.
They're a big rival.
Yes.
But I know about the fish fries at the end of the season. So, but yeah, that community, I think it's still there, but I think it's a lot less than it used to be. And so 3 years ago when I moved, I was in uptown Charlotte. And it's a different type of community there. And then when I moved here to a neighborhood, and my son can actually go outside and just roam, and he's got a group of about 7 or 8 kids, all into sports. They're all athletes. Some play basketball, some play baseball, some play football. Man, they turned it into like a little sand lot. One of the little cul-de-sacs in the back of the neighborhood. They're over there playing every day. I love it, and I'm getting to know their parents and getting to know the kids a little bit, and once in a while you get the bad call, but most of the time it's a good conversation. Because the kids are good kids. But every single religion, denomination, race, like they're just a melting pot. It's cool. And they all get along, and nobody gives a crap about any of that stuff. That unfortunately, probably when they're 18, they'll start
getting on sides. But it's hard to get on sides when both sides think close to the same. Mm-hmm. Kindness, respect, and humility, and I'm gonna go help my neighbor whenever he's down. Now, am I for gay rights, or am I for marriage, or am I for boys playing in the girls' league, or all those are things that could start being things that divide us in our thoughts because we haven't had a challenge. But once your child is the one that's gay, once your child is born different, then all of a sudden you have room to move those other characteristics, the values of humility and honesty and integrity. They were deep inside of you. Move them over, and you just all of a sudden, a year or two ago, you were just anti this. Let your daughter marry somebody that she loves. And then all of a sudden, these are not challenges I tell anyone that I don't accept myself. That my views have been really conservative over the years. But then I had some of my best athletes that I had to be successful with. And then I started looking, and I saw that they hurt, and they're hurt, and they've been devastated by something in their family or life that they can't trust. And then I started learning to listen and to love. And so that's the thing about the sport of track and field. You have both men and women, black and white. You got big ones that throw shot puts, little ones that run distance running. And your judgments have to go away because you find that this is a human being. Some of them from Kenya, and then some of them are from Ireland, and then some of them from Germany, and some of them are Jewish, and some of them are Muslim. And then they bleed, they fall, they break their leg. You don't think about their religion, their color. You run to the edge of the track, and you scoop them up, and you grab them in your arms, and you walk, and you try to get them over to medical help, and you go to the hospital to check on is it healing. You get one that has a nervous breakdown that's threatening suicide. You don't ask them their sexual identity. You just say, oh, that's a child. That's and you jump right in. I just envy people who didn't get the opportunity, and I have to share that in podcasts. That there's a system to success. Mm-hmm. And one of the parts of the system is not judging. You can use that F all the way. But the persons that they pain, they bleed, they hurt, no matter the race, the religion, their views, the part of the world they come from, you have to find that love overcomes hate. Hate don't overcome hate.
Yeah.
And but I got an advantage. Athletes got an advantage. Mm-hmm. Because you have to learn to depend on a guy that's at third base to turn the double. If you ain't gonna catch it when he throws it to you, then the team can't win. Yeah. You have to train in a weight room with somebody and they gotta spot you. Mm-hmm. If the guy don't spot you and you can't trust him, it drops on your chest and it cave in.
Yeah.
And so we had a total advantage. I'm more disappointed when I see athletes that hold judgments than I do the general public. The mm-hmm. fan in the stand that ain't never been in the huddle. Yeah. I can feel sympathy for that guy. But I can't at the guy that's on the sideline because he's had to depend on somebody. Mm-hmm. And if he didn't, he can be rescued quicker. Just bring it to his attention who was there. And that's what Lou Holtz has done over the years that I talk about Coach Holtz. Another great loss in this period that I am political and I did come through civil rights and rescue. And I was the first African-American head coach at University of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. First guy to win a national championship. One of my goals was when it was in the weight room, first to national championship. And Lou Holtz, and my goal when I looked at Coach Holtz was here and he was in our staff meetings, I had in my mind, we got to get there before Lou. We got to get there before Lou. Yeah. I mean, I actually felt and thought of that. And it drove me that he had a national championship. Mm-hmm. South Carolina didn't have one. Okay. And I kind of recruited around, not around winning a conference championship, but winning a national championship. Mm-hmm. And so Coach Holtz was a motivator for me, as well as NC State with Jimmy Valvano, who took me in and cooked us. My kids say, Daddy tells on in one of his first podcasts, real spaghetti dinner. Because we at V's house. I mean, they were rolling out stuff and pasta through a thing, and it took a long time because we normally just take some spaghetti and we pull it out of a box and we stick it down. This guy, and he was making pasta and stuff, and he had these original looking jars that had tomato lumps in the tomatoes and stuff, and he had his plaid gamecock thing, and he would bring our family over. My kids are 6 and 4 years old, twins that are 4, and then. He was a lover of anybody, mm-hmm. and a lover to the point to bring in the house, not because I could contribute to his basketball team, mm-hmm. but he knew that I was struggling, and my family was struggling at being in an environment that was different. Yeah. And he couldn't, and he was all the way to the track coach, the assistant track coach, mm-hmm. and I just I learned that from V, that when you see a struggling person that has the same kind of values you, family, then you got to help them. You don't throw sand in. You don't talk about it's your problem. Get over it. Mm-hmm. That dude pulled me in, no reason at all. And then he got to the point where he would call me and say when he loved to go to track meets, but he didn't want to be crowded by everybody in the stand grab him. So he would call me so he could walk down to look at the long jump. He grabbed me by the arm. It was like a nervous feeling, like, oh, these people gonna grab me. And I get him down there, and then he want me to walk back up with him because everybody want autographs. I never understood why he wasn't comfortable. But in the front of a crowd with a mic, he could just do it. Mm-hmm. But it is the crowding of people crowding him that get him. I see Dawn Staley, she stays near the sideline, walking up into a group of people and being crowded. There's somebody that can be nuts. Yeah. in a crowd. I don't have that anxiety because I can walk around any place. Yeah. Joe Blow sees that as being that person is arrogant, just doesn't get it. I'm an average guy. Why he's superior to me? You get people to get those feelings like that on people that have acclaimed and gotten to a certain notoriety. Mm-hmm. It isn't that Barack Obama don't like you or don't. Hey, the dude, he likes everything you like. It isn't that I even say Mr. Trump. No, he can't afford to be out in the crowd. He can talk to the crowd, but to get in the midst of it and walk up and down, he gotta have security. And it's people misconstrue that. You don't have to agree with somebody, but you do have to acknowledge. A person has been a millionaire for this many years and billionaires and that kind of stuff. They cannot just be Joe Blow.
Yeah,
they can't. And so in turn, I appreciated Coach V, mm-hmm. and I appreciated then Coach Spurrier when I went to Florida, and he needed to recruit in a neighborhood that he was uncomfortable with. Mm-hmm. He asked me to fly to Texas to recruit a quarterback. He never coached an African American quarterback.
Okay.
But he had recruited lots of persons mm-hmm. that were African American, and some at Duke, some at Florida. But he wanted me to go on a flight. I flew with Coach Spurrier and went into the house. And once I'm in the house, he took me with him. I didn't get to talk. He just needed a comfort.
Yeah.
Somebody at the table that was different. Mm-hmm. And Grandma listened, and we signed the Marshall guy. But I didn't say a word. Nice. So diversity and inclusion is important mm-hmm. because there are the components that have to be shared in all facets, from medicine to law enforcement to the sciences, that we have to bring exposure to. It's okay mm-hmm. because you learn more from somebody that's different than you. Right. Having someone from Egypt on my staff was one of the most beautiful things I ever had, because I didn't know what the not eating from sun to sun. I'm just like, what are you talking about? I got Runner here, and he can't eat. He's got to run in the championship. It's Ramadan. I go like, mm-hmm. Baptists eat, Catholics eat. What's the deal? So I had to become aware of Ramadan mm-hmm. to understand that was the most holiest period of the year for our faith. I didn't understand why he had a mat, and he put his mat down at noon, mm-hmm. and he's going, I don't care. He gonna find a place to go roll out, and he gonna pray. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how many other people's faith, and I wouldn't have known anything about this if I didn't. And my appreciation for Muslims for their faith, it grew, because this guy's an incredible family man.
Yeah. He
don't have 4 wives. And you know the myths and the things that have brought me up to believe that if you were something, you get to have. No, that's no aspiration of a religion. But I didn't have no clue. I'm just old Southern Coach Frye from Vass, North Carolina, from Frye's Chapel Baptist Church. And here I judge other people for having judgments. I didn't know I had judgments until I was exposed to diversity and inclusion. He is the #1 quarter-mile coach in the world. Georgia hired him away from here, and hey, they pay him enormously so that they win national championships. His diversity to them and inclusion causes kids from all around America to select to go to University of Georgia to bring it, not just from Atlanta, from around America and the world. Mm-hmm. So inclusion and how bright he is, brilliant man. And so I'm in a component of you're richer when you put yourself in an environment of difference, because you learn more than they learn. Mm-hmm. And then in turn, it makes us better and stronger. America is the strongest and the best country in the world because of, not despite of, diversity. The medicines that we discover, it's diverse medicine. We've got different people. It matches into all kinds of persons in the world. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't have the research or the expertise to recommend what goes into different people in other parts. People steal our science so that they can heal themselves. Mm-hmm. So we are the melting pot for the world. We can never become exclusive and inclusive and not inclusive. Right. So Mama and them talked about that. That's why they put me on the bus to change the environment when I'm a little bit of kid in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And headed to Vast Lakeview Elementary School, is so that we could learn difference and difference could learn us. Mm-hmm. So man, I hate to give you all of Coach Frye and Vass.
No, it's great.
But I didn't know you was a neighbor though.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't think I spent more than a year in one place until I was about 15. But all that area, we were there.
Well, see, that's healthy though. See, because you moved to diversity. Mm-hmm. Your wholesomeness became. My kids had to move every 4 years. Mm-hmm. We were on a 4-year plan.
Yeah.
Douglasburg High School, 4 years. Mm-hmm. 4 years NC State. 4 years University of Florida. 4 years Chapel Hill. And they had different friends. And just when they were getting ready to. 4 years, they started to become the president of the student body, or they became the captain of something, and daddy is moving.
Yep.
And they adapted. At first, it was tough. Mm-hmm. But I just think they are each other's best friend, and I think it's healthy because it's very hard to have best friends. Mm-hmm. And when your family is your best friend, you can really tell. I think it's emotional health because everybody they struggle. My kids struggle. Well, one of them picks the other one up when it's struggling.
Yeah.
And stuff. I encourage adapting. Mm-hmm. Your kids need to have a portion of some time having to adapt. They get stronger. One of my kids went all the way to UVA. We thought that was because I wanted her to come to Carolina here. She was a great athlete. She was offered all in the SEC. A friend of mine at Auburn, he offered her, and he was a good jump coach, and I coached him, Ralph Spry. And she went to visit UVA, and I had a friend that was there, and she said, Dad, I said, you get a chance to pick, you get 5 visits. But I took one school off, and she had to pick another 5. Mm-hmm. I think the obligation of parents to make sure that their kid, not that they don't make choices, but when you obviously see a bad choice, mm-hmm. ask them to get 5, but I get 1.
Was that the party school? You don't have to name names, but is that why?
No, the person in charge had some that the head coach had some problems.
Gotcha.
And they had been they were kind of well known. I believe in recovery mm-hmm. for people, but when it comes to putting hands on kids or marrying secretaries or those things, I want you to recover, but not at my expense.
Right.
So
pulling for you, but
I'm pulling for you.
Now.
Yeah, and I'm praying for you, pulling for you. But those are some hard to forgivable sins. Is when you touch a child, and that's why we have pedophile rules, and that's why you got these things going on in Congress right now. It's when we become that's an acceptable thing to touch children and ruin their lives and the lives of the next generation of that life. That doesn't, that may be a child that's been through, it doesn't stop. That person is a recovering person from having been abused. And that's why our society doesn't allow that to become a norm. You have to punish that, and if you don't punish that, you send a message that if you're wealthy enough, well connected enough, then you can exploit. And that is not, that right there, it doesn't just hurt the one family. It starts being
a big ripple.
It's a ripple. And that's so when she got into that one, I said, well, baby, we got another choice. And she wanted to know why I didn't get into that. I just say, look, give me another choice. And she made good choices. We kind of put them in the position to make good choices when they have the information. Whereas my job is to have information that they don't have.
Yeah.
And when I do, and then I get to an 18-year-old to 20, almost to 35, the cognitive part of the brain hasn't developed. Recommendation from parents about business, about purchasing homes, or how to invest. It's still your responsibility to give cognitive frontal lobe information, because you've made mistakes. You don't want them to make the same mistakes you made from 18 to 30 to 35.
Yeah.
So if they take it, then I feel that's great. But if they don't and don't know, then it's your responsibility. That's not their mistake. So now we have to stay to the point where we stay current on ideas. I mean, I bought some bad property, and my son wanted us to take and do some other things of investing and buying and rebuilding, and we don't have the ability. I didn't have the ability to go. I'm not a guy that can do the electricity or that does plumbing, and so when you buy something, you spend more money than what you're going to get out of the money by paying somebody to get it ready to be a Airbnb. So I try to tell my son, you have to do a bottom line analysis. You have to. I know you're a business major at Carolina, and I know you got, all these people giving, but I'm just an old country boy from Bath, and has lost some money. And I said, and the first one, he just at sight, he determined he gonna get into that. Well, then when he found out, to get this up and going, it's cost $40,000. Well, now the equity on this thing didn't have $40,000 in it. Now he's got to go without having credit, because he's come out of college and he hadn't established no real good credit. So the guy that's got a cosign is the guy that gave him the advice.
Yeah.
And I go like, hey, dude, I'm doing this. This is a one-time goal. But when it got up, this dream that had been sold about how this is going to stay full and it's going to be as near here and Augusta is going to play and all of this, all of that sound, that's just great, man. But guess what? You're spending $900 a month on HOH, on something that you put $40,000 in that you ain't made a dime on.
Well, you try to rent it out for the week for the Masters.
Yeah, and then they're gonna sell the people gonna rent this, and then they're gonna go to football games at Georgia, and they're gonna go to football games and rent it whenever they come to Carolina. It's gonna 3 weeks out of the month. It's gonna be, they're gonna give you $2,500. I mean, this is 10 years ago, 50. No, they're not. They got that Augusta week. The rest of the time, that was a $900 cost. And in turn, you look back and you got $40,000, and your interest rate on that $40,000. And so you go, that's a bummer. But he did that with the knowledge of which I gave him.
Yeah.
It was my responsibility. Now, my wife told me very clearly it was my responsibility not to co-sign.
So she put the kibosh on it ultimately.
Oh yeah. And that's what parenting is. Parenting is coaching.
Yeah.
But you can't. very few times would I turn a kid over to someone who hadn't failed. Somebody that got up, a coach. I like Lou Holtz didn't win when he first started coaching. I mean, he was under Woody Hayes at Ohio State, and Woody, he was a GA, and he made mistakes as a GA, and Woody put him in the office, and he worked out of the office until Woody put him back on the field. So even the best, Michael Jordan missed shots.
Yeah.
The only man that held Michael Jordan under 30 points was Dean Smith. He put him on the bench. You know, so there's always people who have to go through a process and share that process.
Yeah.
And what we do in our website is hang people on that have succeeded, that have a system. We bring Buddy Pugh from South Carolina State and talk with him. Derek Wittenberg, we've talked with him. Bert Sorens, who owns Sornex company, who his father started Sornex, who has turned it into a mega $1 million company. And here we bring him on so he can tell how he and his dad worked that into that kind of company, and how family and going on fishing, going on hunting, becoming a bow and arrow hunter, and how his dad and now his son is shooting bow and arrows and killing big animals, and he moved from doing it out here killing hawks to being able to be in Africa and killing the rhino or charging bull, and he's got that 14-year-old that's standing there. There are experiences that happen from a family that follow the system. It's loving, faith, family, friends, focus, and the future. Finding your why. And there's so many more people. The chapter that we look at is the guy pushing the basket, and the guys on the homeless list, which is when you're talking 2 million people in America that are homeless, that's 360 million America. That means success is 258. They're not. But we highlight the story of the homeless guy that's walking along. Yes, in our country, nobody should be homeless. The other 258 can't be mad that we feed that we're housing the 2 million people. We can't do that. We're bigger than that. And so we can't let that be the diamond in America. Yeah, immigration. Yeah, 25 million people came to America. 250 million people. There's about 10% of them. 25% of them are horrible people. But you can't get rid of the 95% because the productivity of the 95% of the people that are 90%, they make our country run.
Yeah, I just think you gotta keep track of it, and you gotta have paths, and you gotta do it right. But
do it right. But you gotta
get rid of the 5%.
Yeah, but you gotta work at doing it right.
Yeah.
You can't expel the whole. You can't throw baby and bathwater out.
Right.
That's never been.
It's ridiculous though to me that we've been going through this for about 20 years. You can't just let everybody in willy-nilly, and you can't kick everybody out willy-nilly.
You can't do it.
You gotta figure out a way.
And we're too smart.
Yeah.
We know we are smart now.
The 95% is
some of us smart.
But I think some of that 5%'s gotten into Washington.
Yeah, but they know how to keep a fly that's carrying a disease on a fruit from a fly.
Yeah.
From getting into the country. Now you tell me that we have expertise to keep a fly. Choices that we make that are smart are choices. We choose to allow people who don't have a right to be in to make excuses for our negative feelings about all. And in turn, we have to stop doing it because we have the science to get into a country, kill its Ayatollah, have the expertise to find out where he is, what time he's going to be there. Not just now, not just in Iran, but we did it under Obama to find out who was in it. In 1953, we destroyed an Ayatollah in the same country. Mm-hmm. We did not replace it with another leader. We replaced him with another person with a similar philosophy. Mm-hmm. And in 1979, we did it again, and it got replaced again. Mm-hmm. Love overcomes hate. When you're feeding the hungry in a country, in my opinion, if you look and you're seeing the struggling, mm-hmm. make it so that they're not struggling. Then they feel loved, and they are defending themselves.
Yeah, hungry people are desperate people. Desperate people make bad decisions because they're just trying to survive. And it's anywhere that we've infiltrated with love, mm-hmm. we end up coming where they become allies of America. Yeah. Germany in the Second World War was overcome with what we do for people that were in the midst of the Holocaust. I've been to Hitler's home. I spent 15 days in Austria. I went to see and it's the most devastating feeling just to walk, just to be on the grounds, to go into and to look at where they were. They ran people off of the edges of these cliffs, and they didn't know that they were going to fall into death. Or they had these wagon wheels that you load the sand in, and they just piled up 6 or 8 bodies that were skeleton-like guys that were still speaking. They could still talk, but they were so skinny and can't have to eat, to dump them over where they fall into the ravine. And it's just it gave you an appreciation for golly, this is painful. This is painful still to look at. That's why it is that people can't beat up people who come from that generations later. Yeah. Because you just don't know the marking of that to realize that you have a great grandparent that went through the Holocaust. And I think that people who don't get history, don't remember the bad history. Mm-hmm. When Europe stops remembering the history, they allow it to be repeated. Yeah. And then in turn, we end up with Russia, and we end up because we refuse to keep making the history be something that the next generation has a feeling for. Mm-hmm. If you do, you don't let horrible dictatorships dominate and do horrible things. So history is so important to keep having in front of the attacker, the person that caused the bad history, so that they themselves, they feel bad, but they still see that this can happen, mm-hmm. and it is real. Yeah. And stuff. So Coach Frye is all over the place. So when you're talking to Coach Frye in the neighborhood, you're watching, your skin maybe can't be thin. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'll be just about love, but reality and realness from Coach Frye's experiences, I've been afforded because of athletics to recruit and sign people from every continent in the world. Mm-hmm. And I've been to 5. I'm taking my wife to them. I take my children. I think I can have nothing but admiration for the experience that this called athletics has given me. A guy who ran up down the field with a football got a chance from a garbage collector and a maid to be able to be so that I can share my experiences and the people like me, more like me, their experiences, because there are a lot of Curtis Fryes in America. That's great. So that makes sense that you're doing the podcast now. Yes. You can get that message out, and you've got a lot to say.
And it'll be history.
Yeah.
I think that some of the things, everybody has a history. Mm-hmm. And if possible, now is the best time in the world to either record it, write about it, because legacy is not what your son remembers. It is what the grandchildren of your grandchildren remember. Mm-hmm. I make sure that my children remember my grandpa and what he did by having Frye's Chapel Church.
Yeah.
And the community still exists of Frye's Chapel. The diabetes took his legs with me at 2 years old, sitting in his lap when he's 53. And at 58, it took my daddy's life. And then at 58, it took my 11-year younger brother's life. So that we have the Frye Foundation for Diabetes and Mental Health. It has a reasoning to it. Mm-hmm. It's such that the fight against diabetes is something that we as a family gonna have for generations to eventually alleviate it. Mm-hmm. So we gotta have our whatever you questions asked is what do you invest in? What do you have in it? Yep. And so any businessman asks this other guy, mm-hmm. what skin you got in it? My skin is to advocate for something that's affected my community, but directly affected us.
Right.
And that's, I think, our mission and our notoriety. God placed each one of us with a responsibility, a star. Mm-hmm. There was a star that we honor all the time when Jesus was born. Every one of us got a star. Not his star. Right. We have a star, and it's an obligation. Find your star. And somewhere that is the legacy. You got to tell your story. And I don't care. I've heard some of the most devastating people. I can walk down there and talk to some of those guys outside these buildings here pushing, and you can get their star. There's something that is worthy about each person. And if you listen deep enough, you can share on your stage about the star of the person who's destitute and lonely and unhappy. But if his story don't get told, then somebody else repeats his story.
Yeah.
And so we have an obligation, those of us who have an obligation to make sure current is the story of them that didn't have the same opportunity. Being on now, going into the pyramids and crawling to the top, I gotta tell a story. Mm-hmm. That's real, and that's podcasting.
Yeah.
I think. I'm only 5 months in.
No, yeah, we'll see, but I think it's going great so far. Tell everybody a little bit about the podcast, where they can find more podcasts with you.
You can find podcasts on Coach's Corner with Coach Frye, and then you go to Coach Frye in the Neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And if you join, subscribe, listen. So I say listen, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
If you do that, I think we'll be able to spread my story and the lives of stories of some of the people who've been involved that helped me get to be the guy who coached 18 gold medalists in the Olympic Games and spend time between 85 and 95. But it is Coach Frye in the Neighborhood. And Facebook, YouTube, and soon coming on Instagram and then the other forms of media.
Yeah. So predominantly right now, YouTube channel, but we're looking to branch out a little bit and find other channels just to get the message out in front of other people. But for those of you watching, be sure to check out Coach's Corner. Coach's Corner on YouTube. Coach Frye in the Neighborhood.
Yes.
And that's the name of the podcast. The channel is Coach's Corner.
Yeah.
And so they're covering a wide range of topics. You've got everything from faith, family, the 5 F's.
Yeah.
To athletics.
You got it, man.
History, yeah.
Focus on faith, family, friends, and future.
That's 4.
Focus.
Focus.
And you say you miss. You gotta. Hey, look now, Josh. You gotta focus. Nothing happens if you don't focus on your faith. Nothing happens if you don't focus on your family. your friends, and then you got to focus on your future.
Yeah.
But you got to get the other 4, focus on the other 4. And if anything's going wrong, go back to 1.
Yeah. I love it. That's great. All right. Well, for those of you that are watching on our channel, we'd love it if you'd like, share, comment, engage with the brand, engage with the channel somehow. That really helps us out. But Coach, it's been great. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you being here. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.